All right, guys, what's up, everyone? Sunday, December 15th, 2024, MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin. Join my co-host here, Mr. Big Marcel. We're going to recap UFC Tampa, which I thought was a phenomenal card. Marcel, looking forward to talking about that card with you. Last card of the year for the UFC. Right after that, we'll do a quick fight announcements. There was, in a podcast, there was a bunch this week, and I know that we'll go to your page, Marcel, and obviously Dana announced some fights. Another one of what's up, guys? I got a few fights to announce for you.
Everybody knew about it.
Yeah, you already knew about. We all knew about those fights. I mean, I think a lot of people did, but
yeah.
Got some comments. We got our boy True in the chat. Joe, what's up, man? Your Eagles are, dude. I mean, if the Detroit Lions lose right now, which they are to the Bills, I got it on beside me. Joe, you guys might finish first in the conference. It's possible, so we'll see. Antoine, what's up, brother? Glad to have you here, man. I know you. You're a big Atlanta Hawks fan. His team lost yesterday, Marcel. They played in Vegas. They had a tournament game.
Well, actually,
Antoine, he's a big Atlanta Hawks fan. I think he works at the arena. So his team lost, but it was a good game at least, Antoine. You guys put up a good fight, and you're a young team. So, Marcel, what's going on with you, man?
All good, man. All good. I was wondering, and I really don't know, but who won the Icebreakers?
Cole won. So I got to give a shout.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually, I asked Cole to come on today, but he was watching the Bills game with some friends. He couldn't make it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to get. That's why I asked him to come on. I want to give him some flowers, right, as they say. Cole won. I think going into yesterday, it was 3 points, but he ended up winning by 6. I made some underdog picks. They didn't win. I was trying to win the pool, honestly. Ended up coming in second. Brian came in third. I don't know where you came, honestly. I think there was 9 or 10 of us. I can't remember.
I wasn't last, at least. So
I don't think you were, but I think there was either 9 or 10 guys. I can't remember, but I came in second. You know what? It's a little disappointing for me, guys. Honestly, I led most of the way. The entire first half, I was up by quite a bit. I think I was up by like 10 picks at one point. Second half, started to make some bad picks, and then by the end of the thing, I came second. So second out of a bunch of guys that work in the industry and follow the sport, like yourself, Marcel, and James and Cole, all these guys. Like, I don't feel so bad about it, but I really wanted to win, so I was disappointed. But hey, second place is not bad. I've come to second a few times. I've never won the thing. And obviously they've been doing it for like over 10 years. So, hopefully I get it next year, Marcel. But I got to make a few adjustments. I made some good adjustments from last year until the first half of this year. And then the second half of this year, Marcel, I made some bad picks, quite frankly. I took too many underdogs, I think, in fights where I thought they could win, but I wasn't 100% sure. And I should have just stuck with the favorite, So I think next year I'll probably go back to that adjustment, guys. I don't like taking all the favorites. They never all win. We just saw in this card there's a bunch of upsets, but in general, like if you're not 100% sure, it's probably better to err on the side of caution. So that's kind of what I learned from it. But we got a couple other guys in the chat. Knox, your boy Bircha, he's here as well, Marcel. Joe, we're doing good, man. We're glad to have you here, brother. Bircha, would you guys do champions predictions? We will, Bircha. We just talked about this, Bircha. We might as well mention. It's actually funny you bring this up. But we'll talk about it after. I think maybe we can bring it up at the end of the show, just in case people miss this.
Yeah.
So here's the plan, guys. So we'll do UFC Tampa recap. We'll do fight announcements right after this. So double podcast, and then next week we'll be back next Sunday again. We'll do a recap of this year. So we'll do like all of our awards and stuff, and just recap the year, whatever happened. Then we'll do a fight announcements, and then the week after. I'm not sure what day we might do Sunday. I'm not 100% sure, probably though, but I'm not 100% sure right now, Marcel. We'll talk about that then. We'll let you guys know next week. But then we'll do the predictions. So that'll be in 2 weeks from now. So, all right, a couple other comments. Knox, you didn't have a good night. Hey, it is what it is. There was a bunch of crazy upsets. Favorite Christmas movie?
Trading Places.
Polar Express. Is it? That's your favorite one?
Yeah, I have to pick my. I can pick Die Hard, but
Eddie Murphy. Yeah, that's a fun one.
Yeah.
Favorite Christmas movie? God, I don't know. To be honest with you guys, I like a lot of those like old cartoons that like the one with God, I can't. The Abominable Snowman. You know that one? It's like Kris Kringle and all that stuff. I can't remember the name of it. It's Rudolph. Sorry, I think is that Rudolph? It might be Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I really like that one. The cartoon. And there's this movie called The Snowman that I really like. It's like it's a short movie. I don't even know if it's really necessarily Christmas, but it's really good.
Or the one rated X, the How Santa Bent Over Merry Christmas.
That's your favorite. Anyways, a couple other comments. Blake, we'll talk about Colby. Here's Drew's picks. Antoine. Yeah, we'll talk about him in a sec. All right, let's get into the recap. Here we go. All right, UFC Tampa. I'll say this right now. I think this was one of the best cards of the year. This card was phenomenal, in my opinion. There were so many great finishes. Really liked it. Marcel, what do you think? Out of 10, I would give it a 9, honestly. I think it was an amazing card. What do you think?
I give it a 6.5.
Really?
To be honest, besides like the last 2-3 fights, I don't think, and the Johnson knockout.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I listen, man. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad at all. I think it was okay, but I didn't think it was that great, man. I think it was an okay card, But
I really like this card. I got to be honest. There's a few low points, but we'll talk about this. Go ahead.
There were a lot of times. You also take in mind, I watched the main card at 4 a.m.
Yeah, you were cranky.
So Petrino, Jacoby, great finish, but a very sucky fight.
Yes, I agree with that.
But what else? Did Navarro Sterling took was very sucky fight.
Yeah, I agree.
Yanez Marcos was okay. I think Cap Silva was very one-sided, but was fun.
It was fun.
Obviously, the co-main event was great, and I think the main event was okay, but it was also very one-sided. So there were some fun ones. It started besides the Grant Tavares fight, it started kind of bad. The 2 chick fights were really like.
Hey, listen, I looked at the comments. A lot of you guys are agreeing with you. Fair enough. You know what I mean? You know me. Marcel's Mr. Not a frown on his
cranky.
Face. I'm Mr. Optimistic over here. So
no, it's all good, dude.
I know. Hey, it's good to have a little bit of yin and yang here, man. We can't just sit here agreeing with each other all the time. That's fucking lame. I just really like the card. I thought there were some amazing knockouts, especially there were some knockout of the year candidates, multiple of them. There were a few bad fights, you didn't even mention the Maverick Horth fight. That fight was fucking terrible. So there was a few of those really bad fights. But I think some of these fights, the Lima Johns fight was amazing. I thought, that was a great fight.
Fun one. Yeah, I agree.
Grant Tavares was actually a fun fight too. And a bunch of the other fights. Let's go through them one by one. Let's just go through it. By the way, picks wise, 7-6, not my best night, obviously.
Bro, my main card picks. My
yeah, we
main card picks.
You know what? We gotta bring up your record too. Let's bring it up, Marcel.
Suck my dick.
Yeah, no thanks. Let's bring it up. Let me bring it up. So I went 7-6. Marcel went. Let me count it up, Marcel, for you. Okay, one.
Pretty decent.
2.
Don't
3,
shorten me.
4, 5, 6, 7. You're the same as me. You're the same as me. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I after the Sterling fight, I have everything wrong.
Yep. All right, let's go through the card one by one. Main event: Joaquin Buckley defeats Colby Covington, 3rd round doctor stoppage. Dude, I'm completely fine with the stoppage. This is about as clean of a doctor stoppage as you'll see. I know Dana's like, off to Vegas, they wouldn't have let him fight. I don't know, man. That cut was horrible. In a horrible spot. I think that it was fine. What do you think?
What I said in the Discord, man, they better can keep it going because Colby's going to say it was a doctor stoppage again,
Yeah.
The thing is Buckley was completely dominating the fight, in my opinion, besides some that Colby had some ground control at a certain time, but Buckley reversed him pretty much, and he did. I think this was Joaquin Buckley's best performance so far in the octagon, in my opinion. He looked really sharp. He looked really good. He fought better than he fought against Thompson, I think, in his last fight. Although he got the knockout there, a clean knockout, I think he fought much better. Listen, man, Colby can come back strong normally, but I was feeling like this was if he doesn't get finished, he probably gets decisioned by Joaquin, 50-45, maybe 50-44. I think Buckley looked really good. I got to give him his flowers here, man.
He did.
Very, very, very good win for him.
He's 6-0 at welterweight. He's looked amazing, quite frankly. And you know what? It's actually nice to see him come out of come out of nowhere. Obviously, we knew about him a few years ago at middleweight. He had that crazy knockout over Impa. He had a bunch of good knockouts, right? But he was also kind of inconsistent. Drops weight class, Marcel, and looks like a serious contender. I know all you guys are like, "Oh, Colby's washed. Colby's washed." Okay, so are you guys not going to give this guy credit for anything he's done? Really? That's what I feel like a lot of. I don't know, especially you, True. True, I love you, man, but it feels like you don't give this guy credit anytime he wins a fight. What is he supposed to do? Lose and then you'll give him credit? He knocks out Stephen Thompson, the second guy ever to do it. The Ruziboyev guy was a huge middleweight, comes down to welterweight, out wrestles him. Marcel beats him. Luque, I know everyone's like he's washed. Well, he finished him, and Luque looked pretty damn good in his last fight. Barono, I know he's not a great fighter, but at the time it was a good win. The Fialho win, I mean, anyone's going to knock him out. And then Covington, yeah. Like, listen, I get it. Colby's not the same guy, but Colby's still, if you look at Colby's resume in the UFC, he's only lost to Usman, Edwards, Buckley, and Warley Alves, which was like 10 years ago. That's it. So he's not an easy guy to beat. I don't know, man. I think this was a seriously good performance. He looked incredible, in my opinion. He looked good everywhere. You know, when I was watching it, I was like, oh, he's gassed. I was thinking that in like the second round. I'm like, shit, he gassed out. But the more I think back at it, Marcel, it's like he was resting. It's almost like he has a high fight IQ, and he was using that chance to get some breath back and then just keep dishing out the punishment. He landed 75 significant strikes in the fight, and they were very significant. He busted up Colby's face, man. He beat the shit out of Colby. It was awesome to see. I get it, guys. Colby's not the same guy he was, but I think Buckley looked amazing. I like the mic thing he did at the end, the post-fight interview, Marshall, I should say. Ask the crowd what they want. Do you want Leon Edwards? No one says anything. No one cares about Leon Edwards pretty clearly, Marcel. They seem to like the Usman fight. Bilal, he's not going to fight next. Bilal's going to fight Shavkat.
Yeah.
I like this Usman fight. There's a lot of rumors now that Usman's going to fight Jack Della Maddalena. That's on Tapology. Why is it on Tapology? Can you please explain that to me?
Yeah, it's been changed to rumor, by the way. So I don't know why it was there. I don't know why it was there. I haven't changed it, but I mentioned it to the guy from Topology. Yeah. That I don't know why it was on there.
Have you heard this is going to happen though? Like can you be honest with us or?
I haven't heard anything. You know, I heard probably the same things like you guys, like the rumors about it, but I haven't heard anything specifically about it. So I cannot say yes or no. I don't know. You know, so yeah, I mean, I'd like to see Buckley against Usman. I have no problem with it, you know. So yeah,
it's a good fight. I'd rather see that fight personally than Jack. I mean, I don't mind the Jack fight, but I mean, Jack's a great fighter, so he's in a weird spot. But I don't know. I like this Buckley fight with Usman for some reason. I just really like this fight. You get a couple comments here, Marcel. How about that?
Yeah, sure.
Blake lost his 11-leg parlay because Sterling didn't get it finished. I was surprised by that. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. Marcus says, I'm surprised to see how many people were kicking Colby. Well, you know, Marcus, people thought that he would have the wrestling advantage and the cardio advantage, right? And, I mean, considering Buckley hasn't been tested, it makes sense. But honestly, Marcel, like, Buckley pretty much passed all the tests in this fight. I know, again, he did get taken down at some points in the second fight, but got back up and beat up Colby. And he won that second round. He definitely won all the rounds, Marcel, for sure. A lot of people were like, oh, it's 1-1. Like, no way. There's no way it was 1-1. Right? There's no way.
I agree that he won all the rounds.
Yeah. And Beach was asking, was his downfall, Cain Velasquez's downfall similar to Colby? I don't know. I'm not sure. It's different weight class. It's heavyweight, right? So
and Cain was really like known as the number one.
Injury prone too. Cain never because injuries. It wasn't because he was looking for.
Yeah, but Cain was also really known as the number one at that moment. He was a champion, you know, and he pretty much. I think a lot of people didn't. Actually, I picked Werdum, and a lot of people didn't expect it Werdum to beat him. And I was like, I think it was at
Werdum was a huge underdog. It was in Mexico City.
Yeah, it was in Mexico, and I think Velasquez also underestimated that for some reason. For sure, you know, Werdum didn't.
Out. I remember that. Yeah, Werdum had some great wins in his career, man. He beat your boy Alistair a couple times, right?
Fedor
once, I guess I should say. Fedor, yeah.
Yeah.
Colby's wash. I don't think anyone's disagreeing with that. But again, Buckley's good. Usman's good. Like, these are not bad guys to lose to. Edwards is really good. You know what I mean, Marcel? Like, I think Colby can beat some guys in the top 15 still, honestly. At the bottom end.
I agree.
I think he can. Never had Buckley. Best Buckley's ever looked. Agreed. Everyone do your resolution and say never give him his flowers. I know it's a little too much, Drew. I'll say that. I did mention it though, so I'll blame myself for that. Go ahead.
True. By the way, I want to give Buckley his flowers for this.
Yeah. What would your odds be for Buckley Usman? I would favor Buckley. Probably like minus 200. Probably about the same odds as this one. What would you agree or no?
Buckley Usman, the odds.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe more.
I think it would be pretty close, to be really honest, man.
Yeah, it might be. Usman's good, man. Usman gave Hamza a really tough fight. People forget that. And that was at middleweight. Funny thing is, I think of the top 10 fighters, the ones I see Colby beating is Bilal. I'd have to look at the top 10, but maybe. I think he beat Stephen Thompson, though. I think he could beat Wonder Boy. Do you agree with me?
Somebody with, like, barely any grappling, he can definitely beat.
Like Stephen Thompson.
Yeah.
Right? Gilbert Burns' fight would be kind of close, too, I think. I don't think that's a complete blow. Like, I don't think Colby's a terrible striker. He's not great at it, but, you know, Colby Renat, I don't mind seeing that fight. Who's Renat fighting? Renat has a fight, though.
He's fighting the Bonfim brother.
Bonfim guy, because the UFC doesn't believe in him, apparently. he's not getting a ranked opponent. So, although I think everyone thought that the Lion Carlos, they all beat him, right? So, Buckley looked good. He did. Buckley Edwards. They might end up doing this. They could. It could be the main event in London. It could be.
Yeah, why not?
It could be. I don't even mind if they do the Buck versus Cuck fight again. I don't mind that either. You like that?
I like that too, yeah.
Where would they do it, though? I guess maybe the fight night would. Maybe they could do it in London, too. They should go back to Ireland. They should go back to Ireland for a fight night card.
And the bet with a chair.
What are they doing in the hotel room with the Cuck chair in the corner? Yeah. That's where they're going to do the fight. No, I really like Buckley's marketing. Buckley's great on the mic, dude. He's a good fighter. He's great on the mic. There's a lot to like about Buckley. I feel like the UFC's kind of found gold with this guy because, again, Marshall, it comes to the UFC. Remember a few years ago? Holland knocks him out. It's like, oh, this guy's not that good. Has the knockout of the century over Impa. And then he's had some amazing fights in that welterweight. I think he's a really good fighter, man. He's got a great record. And Marcel, Buckley is active. I looked at it, right? So I think I counted it last night, and it was like Holland has like 18 fights over the last 5 years, and Buckley is 15 in the UFC. So like they're like 1 and 2. So
4-0 this year.
Dude, that's incredible in this day and age where guys don't fight that often. I know Gary lost. He likes the Buck and Cuck fight. Me too. People saying it's bad stoppage because they want to see Colby get slapped. True. Actually, what's funny, I was at that card. It was 5 years ago, 2 days ago, I think, Marcel. The card with Colby and Usman, where I saw the Colby get TKO'd. I still think Mark Goddard stopped that fight a little soon, personally. But TKO on the record.
Yeah.
West Coast, nobody gets credit for winning about always how bad the opponent looks. I mean, he's not wrong, is he? I mean, we've been guilty of that too on the podcast. I actually agree with that point completely. Like, you're never like it's a little bit of both, right? It is a little bit of both, but I completely agree with that point. Don't see Usman fight anymore. I mean, I think he still has the burning desire to fight. Again, here's the thing. Here's the thing with Usman. He was dominating Leon Edwards for 4.5 rounds and got kicked in the head with a minute left. He went to a majority decision with Edwards in the second fight, and then he lost a majority decision to Hamzat. Everyone's like, Hamzat's going to be the middleweight champion of the world. But now we have to see Usman retire after he lost a close fight against him on short notice, up a weight class. I don't know, man. I don't think Usman's downfall is as like obvious as a lot of people think. By the way, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Bet105.eu. They had all the betting odds for this card, so give them a shout out if you want to check out a sports book that takes crypto. You guys think crazy thoughts? What's up? You guys think Buckley would have brought Shavkat if he had a highlight reel KO'd Colby? No. Shavkat, no. I think Shavkat's the number one contender at this point. Is he though, or is Usman and Edwards still above him?
I think Edwards is still above him. I don't know if Usman. I think Usman is still above him.
No, he switched with Usman. Okay, so he's number 2 now.
So Edwards is above him. Okay.
Edwards is number. No one cares about Leon Edwards. I hate to say it, but no one does, Marcel. No one. The crowd did not even react when he's like, "Oh, do you guys want to see me fight Edwards?" But the funny thing is, they actually ended up being the fight, which is funny. If Buckley doesn't get Usman, who would you book him fight? I mean, Edwards, Gary, or Usman. I think those are the 3 fights that really make sense. Buckley, JDM. That would be good too, Marshall. I don't mind this fight either. To be honest with you, maybe that's the fight to make when you think about it, because they're both coming off wins, right? Win streaks. There's I think Jack's 7-0 and Buckley's 6-0 welterweight. It doesn't make sense. He could fight the winner of.
Good fight, yeah.
They could do this the co-main event on the Bilal and Shavkat card. Houston Brady. Oh, and there's also Sean Brady too. I kind of keep forgetting about him, but he's very good. Buckley, JM, Australia. I don't mind this fight at all. They'd be fun. Did you guys ever imagine Buckley being a top 5 fighter? No. I didn't. No. But it's nice to see, right? The nice guy come out of nowhere.
Good for him, man. Yeah.
He's put the work in. Usman could wrestle. Fuck him. Well, I mean, there you go. I feel like he'll be favored, true, but maybe Usman can wrestle Buckley. Maybe he can. Colby has no power. Not really, no. I don't. I mean, he has what? Like maybe a couple ground and pound finishes. Max Griffin, I know he finished. Buckley is the only guy I'd be worried about JDM getting stuck by. Would Buckley find Gary backward step? No, I don't think so. I mean, Gary just gave a really tough fight to Shavkat, Marcel, in my opinion. And I think you agree, right?
Yeah.
Dirty Red. This guy's on the same page as me, card of the year. See, I don't know if it's card of the year, but it's up there for me. Marcel and a lot of the other guys don't think so, but I think it's great. This win ages well for Imavov. Different weight class, right? That was that middleweight, right?
Was that middleweight, yeah. Just like the Curtis knockout, yeah. Buckley
lost the decision to Imavov, or? Yeah, it was Was it 29-28? Checking it. Yeah, it was 29-28. Yeah. It was. I kind of forgot the fight.
Paris.
Yeah, it was on the Gone to Boston card. I had
Paris.
Someone you thought, yeah, he'll never be an elite fighter, but ended up proving wrong. I mean, Pereira for sure. I think he was an underdog most of his fights. There's a lot of fighters like that. Jan Blachowicz, guys they fought him. Definitely. I mean, there's tons of guys, man, that came up through the ranks. Alexa Grasso, that's a great example, in my opinion. I never thought she was anything special. She was a champion. All right. Usman Chimaev was 5 rounds. It would have been real interesting. Usman would have probably won that fight if it was 5 rounds. I really think so. How do you guys think Buckley would have looked against Ian? Probably great.
That's a good question.
It's interesting. I think he looked amazing. I also thought
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I thought Ian looked really good against Shaka. It was surprising to me too.
The funny thing is when that fight got booked, I was like, "This is probably going to be an easy fight for Ian against Buckley." Now both fights have been over. I'm actually intrigued by the fight. More than it was when it was.
I don't mind this fight at all. It's funny, right? Because he lost, but I still think his stock went up in that loss. I think, right, to Shafkat, because most people thought he'd get finished, right? Like the line was crazy, for the betting and everything. So I agree with Marcus too. 300 is the best card of the year. I mean, it really is. Had the best fight of the year, Max and Justin, best knockout, and I mean, there's some other good knockouts on this card too. But
300 was good. UFC Vegas 94 was good. With
which one was that?
Lemos Jandiroba with almost.
That was you know what's funny? I remember that card. I was like, I remember I was talking to James Lynch about that card before, and he's like, I'm just going to PBR this card, man. I don't think this card is anything special. And it turned out to be good. And same with the Macau card, Marcel. Like I thought it was good, but the card was fucking great, wasn't it? It was very good.
Very fun, yeah.
And a lot of these, the crazy thing, guys, a lot of these fight night cards are better than the pay-per-view cards, which should not happen, in my opinion. Right?
Yeah, Dana should sell those wow moments.
Any idea what Dana's plan? His massive plan, Marcel? I don't know. I mean, it's probably something to do with Power Slap, isn't it?
Finally, somebody didn't ask about it, and then he breaks it up himself.
There's a card coming up right in Saudi Arabia or something.
Yeah, like
by Dumpling. There was the draw in the last fight. I know you can't wait to watch that.
No, I don't give a fuck. Yeah.
All right, let's go back to the card. Cub Swanson defeats Billy Quarantillo, 3rd round knockout. Fight of the night. Great fight. Awesome fight. Cobb gets a win. I kind of thought Cobb had a chance to win this fight because the more I thought about it, I was like, Billy's really hittable, man. It's like he doesn't have good head striking defense, and Cobb is a sniper. I had it 1-1 going in the 3rd round. I looked at the scorecards this morning. It was 2 of the judges had a 1-1. One had a 2-0 Swanson, by the way. And then he lands that brutal knockout punch, knocks him out. Glad they won fight of the night. For Billy, I know he didn't get the win, but he did get 50,000 at least. But it was an amazing knockout by Cub. Now the question is he retire? I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, great win for Swanson out at 1-1 going into the 3rd, and I thought Billy was going to take over, but Cub did very well and knocked him out. Listen, man, I heard Cub saying he talked to his wife, the Skanda Perez, right? Like the former, she worked for the UFC before. And she was, he was thinking about retirement, but the way he said it, he doesn't want to retire. He wants to keep going, the way he said it. And also, I was like, a lot of people were like, let him retire. I'm like, if he retires today and he doesn't feel like he should retire, he returns in 3 years to be big KFC. I don't want to see that bare knuckle, Let's keep him in the UFC. I think Swanson said he was interested in a rematch with Doo Choi. I'm cool with that. If Doo Choi wants to do it again, why not? I mean, Doo Choi lost to him the first time. It's in the Hall of Fame, that fight.
I was at that fight. I was actually at that fight. It was amazing.
Yeah. Amazing fight, man. I mean, it was also somewhere in December, I think.
Yep.
Why not? I mean, listen, if Swanson wants it and Swanson actually won the first fight, why wouldn't Doo Choi want that? Obviously, Doo Choi maybe wants somebody in the top 15, but still, man, if I can get that win back, why not?
I think it'd be great, because it wasn't really on my radar last week. I was like, oh, Doo Choi should fight Ganige. He calls up Bryce Mitchell, but now I think about it, this fight it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think it's great. And then for Billy Q, there's people in the chat last night. I'm sorry, guys. Why would you cut this guy? A lot of people are like, we should cut Billy Q. But what the fuck are you guys talking about? He's exciting.
I like Billy.
You know what, Marcel? Here's the fight. Billy Q and Nate Landwehr. You like that fight?
Yeah, why not? I mean, why not? It's actually a clever one, I think.
UFC Miami in April. They're both from Florida. It's a fun fight. Could be fight of the night. That could be fight of the night. I'll say that right now.
Yeah, I think it's a great matchup, man. And the thing is, Billy Q, and I'm a little bit biased here as well, I like Billy Q a lot as well. This is one of the nicest guys in MMA,
Yeah, no,
so I would never say I think he should be cut. Plus he's a very friendly style. Go ahead.
For sure. No, you're right. And then he had his boy, and your guy, Shane Burgos, was in his corner last night. There's some rumors Shane might come back to the UFC, right? Is that out there now? Or
I haven't talked with him about it. I heard it as well, but I haven't talked about it with him
I would
because
love to see him back in the UFC, man.
yeah,
Honestly,
he was focused on the Billy fight, so I don't want to bother him with it. And
sure.
the thing is, like, I'm actually going to ask him if he's proud about his kids fighting last night, because he beat both guys, But
That's funny.
yeah,
No, I would love to see Shane. I know he didn't have a great run in PFL. He didn't look that good there. But dude, how many good fights did he have in the UFC?
yeah,
And his fight with Billy Q, it's funny because they're like really good friends now. That fight was amazing, and it just so happened it was on the same night as
Gaethje Poirier,
Gaethje and Chandler.
Gaethje Chandler.
But back to back, those fights happened, and they were both fucking amazing fights. And I really think that if that was any other card, that was fight of the night. So, by the way, I like this from Pato. He says do a Swanson Pichel twins matchup. I like that. They both look very, very similar with their mustache. Next fight here, Manel Kopp knocks out Bruno Silva. Amazing performance by Kopp. Pretty much what we've been hoping for the whole time he's been in the UFC, Marcel. He looked absolutely amazing. Like, he was fast. He was powerful. Gets the knockout after suffering a brutal low blow 3 times, but the third one was brutal, and 1 point taken by referee Keith Peterson, which was obviously fine. I think they could have even taken a point in the second low blow maybe, but the third one they had to. To be honest, Marcel, that was such a brutal groin shot. It could have been a DQ, I think it was that brutal. But I'm glad the fight continued. Kopp looked amazing. And after that, I started doing the crazy Anderson Silva stuff. He got hit a bunch of times, though. Like, I'll give, what's his name? Bruno Silva. We both picked him. Obviously, not a great pick in hindsight, Marcel. But, dude, he was firing bombs, Marcel. He did connect a bunch. And Kopp's chin just held up really well. So I was blown away by Kopp. And Marcel and I talked a little bit on WhatsApp today. And Marcel asked me, he's like, do you think that, because Dana said, someone asked him, is he getting a title shot? Because I think you could give it to him based off such a great win. But he's like, no, we're going to give him what he wants, though. So you think it's going to be Kai Kara France in Sydney, and then the winner gets a title shot? Is that what you're thinking?
That's what I'm thinking. I think they need somebody to fight Kai in Sydney, and obviously Cap doesn't like Kara France because of the things that happened before, and yeah, I mean, why not? And it's a fight they can sell as well, in flyweight. So there's a good matchup.
Main card makes sense, right? Open up the main card with that. I think that they can easily do that on the main card for the Duplessis Strickland card.
Plus, they need some Anzac fighters on good Anzac fighters on that main card there, because there are a lot of prelims already, but not really like Anzac fighters from the we can put on the main card now, which is known. So.
And also, Kopp didn't take. He didn't. Sorry, I was just gonna say he didn't take that much damage. Like, he took a bit, but not enough that he couldn't fight again in February. I think
we gotta mention. Listen, Silva indeed made some falls, but Kopp also finished with a fall.
Yeah, I think that's one of those ones where Keith Pearson looked the other way, man. To be honest with you.
Yeah, but there was a review. I saw
some people saying that they're gonna appeal the loss.
There was a review, man. Before the scorecards got read, there was a review. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay. So that they're not going to appeal it, though. I don't think it'll win.
And I think Kopp deserved the win, clearly.
Yeah, okay. We should get our pick back in the pool, right, Marcel?
No, Kopp deserved the win.
Clearly. Oh, I thought you said he didn't deserve. My bad.
No, he did.
Craig, what's up, man? Glad to have you here, dude. Appreciate it. Kopp looked great. Kopp and KKF is good. I think they should make. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. Like, I think you could give either guy a title shot. But here's the thing: Pantoja fought twice this year. I know for a champion that's good. They don't fight. They usually don't fight 3 or 4 times unless they're John Jones in his prime. I think it makes sense. Pantoja just had a fight but recently, and he probably wants to take a little bit of time off. So you do that fight, then maybe you do the winner, the winner would fight Pantoja in Brazil. Dana said they're having a bunch of cards in Brazil next year, right? He said that.
Yeah.
Do you know about any? I'm assuming there'll be one. They did they usually do May, right? May is usually the pay-per-view in Brazil.
Yeah, they did May last year, I think. Yeah,
the one I went to 2019 was in May. I remember that was.
The thing is, like February, May is pretty close, I think, right? So
it is. But hey, man, if the title shot's there, you want it. All right, let's go to the next fight here. Dustin Jacoby knocks out Vitor Petrino. One's a bonus. This fight was really bad up until the knockout. All 3 judges, by the way, had it 1-1. I wasn't sure. I thought Petrino won both the rounds. I thought he was winning the third round too. Did you think he was winning the third too, or no?
Yeah, I have Petrino leading 2-0. Dude, I know.
He was a huge favorite in the betting odds and then got cracked, knocked out cold. And this could be like a career ending knockout kind of, because now he's lost 2 straight fights and brutally too, Marcel. And this is the kind of knockout, Marcel, where it was It was like Masvidal and Usman, and Masvidal's never been the same since that fight. Like, you just get knocked out cold, and it's not the same. Jacoby saved his job, I think, man. I think he might have been cut if he lost this fight. It was not a good fight. You know, I know Dana, he's like, oh, I went to Dana, and Dana's like, amazing knockout, man. We're going to get you a bonus and stuff. Like, I think the fight was so bad, you know, personally. I don't blame them for giving him bonus because, like, it was a phenomenal knockout. But, like, if you really talk about a great performance, like, to me, like, Manel Kopp had a much better performance. Joel Alvarez, I think, had a cleaner performance. That's my opinion. But I think they should have, even Buckley, too. I mean, you could have given one to him, too. I get it. It was a flashy knockout. It was an amazing knockout. One of the best of the year. I don't know, though, Marcel. Like, I don't think this fight was good at all, personally. What do you think?
I thought it was a bad fight overall, you know, and I felt like Petrino was winning until Jacoby got with that, knocked him out clean, you know.
Does the 1-1 scorecard surprise you? Does it surprise you a bit?
Surprise is like a reach, you know, but I had a 2-0 for Petrino. So, I mean, I didn't have it 1-1, but yeah, I mean, a good win for Jacoby and one he needed, obviously. For Petrino, a real bad loss, man, to be really honest. You know, already lost to Smith last time and now to Jacoby. I mean, doesn't look good for him, you know?
No, not at all. And I don't know if Dustin's ranked. I don't think he's ranked right now. This was the winner of this was probably battling for like the number 16 spot or something. Jacoby versus Zhang. I don't mind that fight. That would be fun. For Petrino, I don't even know what you do with him now. Like, I guess they could give him the Tuco Tokos guy. They could do that fight, maybe, Marcel. Get him back on track. I think they still like him as a prospect. He'll probably fight in Brazil, get someone low ranked, but I don't think he's that good now, man. I wouldn't bet on him ever again. You know what I mean? Like, this is the kind of guy you don't want to bet on. So
got Jose Medina back to 205.
Yeah, you could do that or someone like that. All right, next fight here: Daniel Marcos defeats Adrian Yanez, split decision. Yeah, I thought Marcos won. I think this fight was pretty good. The third round wasn't great. It was, you know, Marcos was stalling, but he did enough to win, man. I think with the takedowns and Yanez, I think, Marcel, we talked about it as well. I know you're a big Adrian. You're a big, you know. I think you guys are tight. I guess is that fair to say? No, you and him aren't.
I'm cool with Adrian, but I'm not talking often.
Okay, yeah. Someone, maybe it's Cole or James, one of those guys. Anyways, listen, I really like him.
I think Alex, man.
Alex, that's who it is. Sorry, guys, my bad. There's so many people we have, friends of us. Alex is really tight with him. I know Alex thought he won. I don't think so, but I think Adrian only has himself to blame. You know, I think the third round, he had a chance to win. He could have just like disengaged from the clinch and just threw strikes, Marcel. But instead, he chose to clinch up and lose a decision. So I think the judges got it right. I think 29-28 is the right scorecard. 1-3 for Marcos. It was a close fight, but I think he won. What do you think?
I don't 1-3 for Marcos as well. Like I said to people also in the Discord, like if you score around 3 for Yanez, it's pretty much you like highlight everything he does, and you like pretty much don't see everything Marcos did in the round. And I thought Marcos did enough to win the round. It was close. I'd say that. If it was 29-28 the other way, I wouldn't have complained. At the same time, I think the right guy won. So,
I agree.
Yeah, good for Marcos. I picked Yanez in the fight, but yeah, I think Marcos deserved the win. So yeah, good for Marcos and still undefeated.
Yeah,
he called out Jose Aldo afterwards. I think it's just very smart and good call out, man. You know. So yeah.
I think the fight's fun if it happens. I would probably favor Aldo, to be honest with you. I think Aldo would be the much better striker, but I mean, this guy's he's 17-0. Yeah. And won no contest, and really he should have won that fight with Richie Lang. That guy looked for a way out. So 4-0-1 in the UFC. I will say this though, I don't think he beat Davey Grant. We'll talk about him in a few minutes too. So anyways, he's looked good. For Yanez, I wouldn't cut him. I think he's so good. He is 1-3 in his last 4 though.
But he is lucky that he got Vinicius Salvador in between. You know,
I think, dude. I completely agree. Like they gave him a layup, right? I think that Salvador. He's not in the UFC, right? Vinicius?
No, I don't think so. No.
0-3. He might still have a fight left or whatever. But listen, I like Yanez, but
me too.
As he's gone up the ladder, man, he's kind of shown he's a flawed fighter. You know, his head striking, his defense is not good, and his takedown defense isn't very good.
I like Adrian a lot, but do you remember when he fought Randy Costa? Yes. And Randy completely destroyed him pretty much in the first round. Then he gassed out. Yeah.
I mean, he's a good fighter, but yeah, I mean, he's shown a lot of flaws in his fights for sure. All right, next fight here, Navajo Sterling defeats Tugo Tokos. This fight was so bad, I thought. Sterling clearly won the fight, but dude, not a good performance. And for me, it's like he was minus 1,200. I think if you're that big of a favorite, you have to finish the fight almost. He is green in MMA, so he's only 6-0 now. So like, give him a little bit of slack, I guess, guys, because he doesn't have that much experience in MMA. But I'll be honest, man. I think like anyone with like a ground game beats him. Honestly, like that guy, the Gajiashulov guy.
I was thinking about him. Yeah,
I think he would beat him, and I don't think that guy's very good at all. To be honest with you,
he's fighting
he'll get taken down. Yeah, Bruno Lopez.
Yeah.
I think that guy beats him, and Bruno Lopez isn't that good either. That's the guy that was in the taxi cab driver or something, right? Wasn't he? Yeah. Dana signed him. He's like, oh, he was driving a taxi. Now we got to sign him. The bottom line at 205 is so bad.
That's why he also signed Magomedov, man. Because he's driving a bus. I'm sorry, I had to make it.
Would you cut Tokos or give him another fight?
Man, I mean, the problem here is that I really like Tuku Tokos, and that's like on a personal level because he's a really cool dude,
Yeah, for sure.
But if I have to look at what he has shown so far, it wasn't good, I got to be honest. And I mean, in the C fight, he looked really off, and he was talking to the other corner, I think, at the same time. But okay, he losses to C was a very short notice fight, but this one, it was just like this fight never came loose for some reason, and he was like hesitant, wanted to grapple more, couldn't get him really down. Sterling didn't really look good. It was overall just not a great fight, and
it was bad.
Nah, it was just not good. And that they switched this one for Johnson as Zaitar, it's crazy.
Which was the main of the prelims, and Michael Johnson gets a highlight reel knockout and a bonus over Ottman Zaitar. Amazing knockout. I mean, what are you else supposed to say? I mean, by the way, Ottman, I think, is getting cut. 2-3 now, 3 knockout losses. He's always in fun fights, though. Maybe they keep him around if they have to build someone back up. I'd have to look at the list of fighters to see who they want to build back up. But for Johnson, man, credit to the guy. 15 years in the UFC, still knocking fools out. So great.
I don't want to be a dick, but I want to ask you, why did you pick Zaitar, man? What did you saw in him?
Well, to be fair, obviously I was behind in the picks. I needed to.
Oh, okay. You took a gamble.
That was part of it. To be completely fair. Also, because Michael was an older fighter, but I will say this: like betting against the older fighters didn't work last night because all the old guys won. Davey Grant, Michael Johnson, and Cub Swanson all won, which is crazy. Yeah. You'd think maybe one of them would win or two of them, but not all three. So, listen, obviously a bad pick. I mean, clearly, but it is what it is.
Yeah, for sure.
I still don't think Michael Johnson's a great fighter by any means at this point of his career, but this was a great matchup for him against a guy who is very one-dimensional, has a terrible chin. So, yeah, great knockout. He calls out Justin Gaethje. He's not getting that fight, but the first fight was amazing, and with Gaethje and Johnson, Marcel, that should be in the fight of the Hall of Fame fight wing, right? Do you think so?
Yeah, that was a very fun fight.
And that would get Johnson in the Hall of Fame. And I know people are like, "Oh, he shouldn't be," but 30 fights in the UFC, man. That's amazing. So
I mean, yeah, this sounds very corny, but Zaitar went down like a sack of potatoes. But
he did.
Man, I mean, that was a crazy knockout, and he got like 3 extra punches after he was knocked out already. Johnson looked great, he looked really good. Good for him, man. I listen, man. Johnson is like that talent where everybody was like, he can be the next big thing at lightweight for years, and he never went to full potential because he lost fights. You didn't expect him to lose. Paul Sass, Reza Madadi, like all these kind of fights, like you're like, how? And then he's winning to Dustin Poirier, to Tony Ferguson. It's like crazy, But Johnson always had the potential. He looked great, so shout out to him.
No, I completely agree. I'm looking at his resume. He's never fought Jim Miller before. That's kind of surprising to me. I wouldn't mind seeing that fight. Would you like that?
Yeah, why not? We can do that.
He's got to fight another veteran. I think it makes sense, but we'll see what happens. Bobby Green and Michael Johnson, that would be good. You like that fight? That would be okay.
MJ versus Green for the Hood. Yeah, why not?
All right, next fight here. Joel Alvarez defeats Drakkar Klose for sure knockout. Yeah, it was crazy. Flying knee, and then basically went for a guillotine choke and started smashing with punches, but he was already knocked out. So it's like he knocked him out and submitted him basically, Marcel, and then knocked him out again.
So
amazing.
So this guy is probably close to the top 15, and then he says like, yeah, I'm probably going to welterweight. I was like, dude.
Really weird. Yeah, I know, it was really weird. And then Dana got asked about it, and he's like, I don't know. I think you should stay at lightweight.
And he's like, if we go to Spain, I stay at lightweight. But if we don't go to Spain, I go to welterweight. It's like, how does that work, dude?
You know what surprises me? I was looking at his resume this morning. He's 7-2 in the UFC with 7 finishes. He only has 1 bonus. That's crazy. I know he's missed weight a few times, though, right? Is that That's probably
Yeah, according to the UFC, he's 7-1, by the way, because they said he only lost to
I
Ahmed
heard that. They don't acknowledge Demir Ismagulov for some
Yeah,
reason.
what the
They
hell?
don't care. They pretend it doesn't happen. Yeah, I mean, he looked amazing. Like, there's nothing else to say. They'd be making, and I talked about this yesterday on Twitter. They got to go to Spain next year. They'd be fucking fools not to go. And they got to do Tapura in the main event, and then they do Joel Alvarez probably opening main card. And they got the Chris Barnett in the prelims, baby.
Yeah, but why does it have to be in a stadium? They can go in the venue.
Isn't there a place where like
there is? But it's only
Luka Doncic, you know, basketball player. You know who he is?
Yeah, I think it's only like 10K people.
He played for Real Madrid, the basketball team. There's got to be a stadium, like an arena, I should say.
Yeah.
But I think they can sell the stadium out. Like, the thing is with the roof, Dana's just pissed about it. But Dana's like, oh, I don't like the experience of the stadium. I'll tell you, man. I went to UFC 129. That was a stadium in Toronto.
Yeah.
That was Machida and Couture and Aldo Hominick and GSP Shields. I didn't notice that much of a difference. I mean, clearly it was a bigger venue. But it was an amazing experience, you know? So I think it's fine. I mean, that the fight with Ronda Rousey and Holly Holm was in a stadium. And that was an amazing
with all those like how do you say that, those sets, right, that you could lift up, those plastic seats.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I don't know, we'll see what happens. The weight cut apparently is killing him. He's missed weight sometimes, but if he moves to welterweight, I don't think he's gonna be as effective. I think he'll get taken down by guys. Like, even here at lightweight, I'm still not convinced he's a top 10 guy, but I think he beats all the other guys that are not ranked.
If he goes to welterweight, I give him Neil Magny.
Yeah. Do you think he'd survive the top 10 of the division? No. Wait, lightweight or welterweight? Neither of them, personally. I think he's good. Don't get me wrong. He's a fun guy to watch, but I'm still not sold on him. He has had some great wins though lately. Yeah. Like, Close is an underrated fighter. That's a nice win. Elvis Brenner's a really good fighter, I think, too. That's a nice win. But again, I don't know. We'll see. Because again, when he fought Arman and Demir Ismagulov, he got taken down, right? Like, Arman beat the fucking shit out of him. Just shows you how good Arman is when you think about it, Marcel?
Yeah.
All right, next fight here. Sean Woodson knocks out Fernando Padilla. This fight was just bizarre. Padilla comes out, guns blazing, looks good, and then gasses out after like a minute, Marcel. It was really weird. And then Woodson just pounds him away and gets the knockout. No bonus, but, you know, it was too early on the card, I guess.
I had to laugh with the interview. He's like, get me my 50K, put me in the rankings. I'm a dog. And then Bisping is like, you're a dog indeed.
You know what? You got to give Woodson credit, though. I mean, dude, look at his record in the UFC now. It is 7-1-1.
Very
solid.
Good. It's very good.
He should get a top 15 opponent, right? What do you think? I honestly thought this was a step down from Alex Caceres. I don't know if you thought so, but I thought so.
Yeah, I thought so too, actually. Yeah.
Very bizarre. Very bizarre. And you know what? Woodson was like minus 150 favorite, and he won easily. So he was a good value bet. There was a few guys in this card that were good values. The worst value was Petrino. He was minus 350 and lost. But yeah, good for Sean Woodson. I think a ranked opponent makes sense. Like, Giga Chikadze's fun fight, right? You like that one?
Who?
Giga for Sean Woodson.
Yeah, why not?
It makes sense. I like it. Next fight here, Felipe Lima defeats Miles Johns. I thought this was a great fight, man. I really did.
I liked
Especially
it as well.
The first round was wow. I mean, Lima looked like a serious contender in the first round. He got a little tired as the fight went on. His head strike defense is also kind of bad. I'm not sure how good he is, but he was definitely talented. But I'll say this, you know, everyone shows flaws in their fights. Even Topuria got like dropped by Jai Herbert, right? So even the best fighters in the world show flaws in their fights, and the best fighters in the world have lost for the most part. So yeah, it wasn't a perfect performance by this guy, but I thought he looked great, man. I'm really excited for his future in the sport, dude. He's only 26. Very exciting guy. Jungle Boy, they call him. Marcel, 2 straight wins in the UFC where he looked great. I don't know what's next. I guess he's dropping to 135. Is that the plan?
I think so, yeah.
I mean,
by the way,
here's the thing. Like, I almost feel like he should get a top 15, but there's so many other guys that like Marcos that probably deserve it more. I do have a fight for you in a second if you want to hear it, but what were you going to say, though?
Yeah, I like that my my octagon autograph from Felipe Lima got bigger in value after yesterday.
True.
Yeah. Why not match him up with Adrian Yanez?
I mean, I don't mind that, but the other fight I was thinking was like Davey Grant. I mean, I think that would be a fucking great fight.
I'm cool with that too.
Davey's a dog, dude. We'll talk about his fight right now. I'll skip the other fight for a second. Nice pick. You know, this was another one I was kind of iffy on, to be honest with you. I thought it'd be closer. Davey pretty much dominated the fight, dude. Like, he looked amazing. Landed 147 significant strikes, most on the card.
He only lost the first part of the second round where he got knocked down.
And you know what? I really thought he beat Daniel Marcos in his last fight. So I think he really should be on a 4-fight winning streak. And a lot of people thought he beat Adrian Yanez. I don't think so, but it was close.
So. Yeah.
And the Marlon Vera fight, he lost that too, but it was pretty close too. So, I mean, this guy's really changed his game in the last few years. He's obviously very talented, older guy, but still dangerous. They call him Dangerous Davy Grant. He's fun to watch. I think any of those fights make sense. I wouldn't mind a Davy fight with Felipe Lima, though. I think that would be a great fight, dude. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be a fun fight. By the way, for some reason, Davy Grant reminds me of Jamie Vardy, but I don't think you know who Jamie Vardy is.
No.
Davy Grant, he looked good, man. I mean, besides that, he got knocked down in the second round because he took a little bit too much of a risk there. But
they didn't count it as a knockdown, but it seemed like it to me watching live.
For me, it was too. But still, he won the fight, man. He looked really good, in my opinion. And after a very bad neck injury, he came back, neck surgery or whatever. So I'm happy for him.
Did you have it 3-0 or 2-1?
I could see both sides. You could give it 2-1 because of that moment in the second round. But I think overall it should have been 3-0. Sorry.
Fair enough. I had it 2-1, but at the same time, like, they're not counting as a knockdown. So it's just one of those examples of, like, the judges, they don't see the stats. They don't know that it's not considered a knockdown. So, you don't get to replay it, right, and see it again. So, anyways, two of them had it 3-0. One had it 29-28. Right guy won. The fight I just missed because I wanted to talk about that more. The two women's fights, honestly, were pretty bad. But this fight, Miranda Maverick defeats Jamie Lynn Horth. Terrible fight. For someone who was minus 950 at close, I think a terrible performance by Miranda Maverick. She was talking so much smack before the fight, saying, "You guys are going to win money. Here's my Venmo. Here's my Cash App. Send me your money." Dude, I was completely let down by her performance. I think she looked really flat in this fight. Jamie Lynn Horth, like, she won the second round, dude. And as someone who's a massive dog like that, really, the fight shouldn't have been this close. Like, only 24 significant strikes landed for Maverick, 15 for Horth. Like, just a bad fight, bad performance, really, by I think both fighters, but especially Maverick. Really disappointed, man, personally. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Horth did a lot better than I expected, If you look at Maverick, I thought Maverick really underperformed. Yeah. Actually, she won. She grinded out in the third round, and she grinded to a victory, but wasn't good, and but she won. So good for her, but I don't think she can have much, how do you say that? Don't have much to negotiation power after this one, to be really honest.
No, and I don't know, even if, like, she might get a ranked opponent. She probably should because she won 4 straight fights. But I don't know if she'll beat that opponent because I think, she's kind of shown she's not great. She's just an okay fighter. I was disappointed.
I think probably one of her best performances was the Barber fight. And she
lost, but I think most of us thought she won. I think Horth should move up too because she probably killed herself for that weight cut and she was so much bigger. I think Tracy Cortez would have won the fight.
Yeah,
Tracy and Maverick.
Very possible. Yeah,
probably Tracy would have won. All right, and then the last fight here, Piero Rodriguez, 8 takedowns landed against Josephine Knudsen, wins a clear decision. Actually, I think Knudsen's stock goes way down. She looked terrible. She was undefeated coming into this fight, looked horrible. No takedown defense at all, which we probably should have seen coming after the Plastry fight when she kept getting taken down. Piero gives her credit. Marcel snaps her losing skate because I think if she lost, she would have been released. So she gets the win here. And I thought she looked really good. I don't think it was a great fight by any means, but overall, like, a strong performance. And I think she said they're like friends. Actually, they used to train together, right? Didn't they?
Yeah, they have trained together. Yeah, they have trained together. Yeah.
I think Knudsen, though, for me, like, stock droppers, she's right there for me. I don't know about you. Like, I think she looked horrible.
Yeah, I thought it was a really bad fight by her, man. I picked her. I thought she would be able to at least defend a couple of takedowns, but she wasn't able to defend. And the funny thing was, like, the corner of Piera was like after the second round, she's afraid for your striking. And I was like, no, keep grappling. You can easily win this fight with grappling. You don't even have to strike. And Piera clearly won the fight. She looked good. She looked decent. I wouldn't say really good, but she looked decent. I just thought, and this is like a typical, like, you think the opponent looked bad. I really think Knudsen looked bad in this fight. And it made Piera look good.
I completely agree. I mean, this is one where I think you can really say the opponent, like, her takedown defense was just none. There was non-existent.
No.
And Piera just did what she had to do to win. Like, if you can take someone down, Marcel, and hold them there for 15 minutes, why would you not, right? Like, why wouldn't you? Again, Marcel, had she lost 3 straight losses, they probably release her. They're probably like, hey, see ya. So she did what she had to do.
I mean,
think for Knutson, really bad showing, man.
Also, Knutson, when she was there on her back and she couldn't stand up, should have said, "Headbutt me, bitch," get something going, but she's way too nice, I think, But yeah, bad performance by
Like
her.
that girl, that one, what's her name? Carnalosi, that one that you're friends with, that one.
Oh, she got headbutted by Piera, right? Piera got the DQ.
What happened to her? That headbutt just put her out for a year?
No, she wants to come back, but for some reason the UFC hasn't booked her, man. She's waiting.
Yeah. See, Blake, I'm not sure, honestly. Like, can she improve her takedown defense? I don't, maybe, but
she's still young.
She is, but she showed really bad takedown defense in her last fight against Pulaski too.
I agree.
Like, she didn't work on the one thing that was going to lose her that fight.
Maybe this is like the moment, because now she lost the fight. The last time it didn't cost her the fight. This time it cost her the fight.
It's a great point, because really, like, you know that old saying, like, if it's not broken, don't fix it. I get that, and I agree with Knox too. You're right. Grosso ended up winning the belt. I just don't think that Knutson's as athletic as Grosso. To me, she looks very stiff. When I see her at the weigh-ins, especially, she just doesn't look like an athletic specimen. Some of the other girls.
Listen to Granddad Marcel over here. This is a good value for younger girls. If it's not broken, don't fix it.
There you go. All right. So, yeah, overall, I think it was a good card. But, as we've gone through it, there was obviously a few bad fights, especially in the early prelims. All right, guys, let's end up finishing this podcast, Marcel, and we'll do a fight announcements. How about that? Anything else you want to say really quick before we start the next one?
Yeah, guys, thanks for watching as always, of course. And we really appreciate the interactions with everybody here in the chat all the time. I really like it that you always say that I'm right, because I know that already. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just really, it's really cool to have the interactions. And yeah, we'll have another podcast after this one. And yeah, we will have podcasts like every week. We won't go away, not even with Christmas and New Year. We will be there. So
yeah. By the way, last question. I'll take it, Knox. Who stock dropped the most? I'll let you answer it.
Yeah, I mean, Colby. If it wasn't already dropped, let me think. Silva as well, because I mean, I thought that he had a good chance against Manal. Petrino's stock dropped really bad, I think. Who else? If I really have to choose here, I'd say Petrino, man, to be honest.
Yeah, I probably picked Vito Petrino, I should say. And I agree, it was a great card. All right, give us a second, guys, a couple minutes, and we'll pull up the fight announcements podcast.